Our next guest is an Emmy-nominated actress and writer. You know from her work in The Big Sick, The Plot Against America, and Olive Kitteridge. She stars in She Said, which is in theaters November 18th. Let's take a look.
What is it exactly that we're looking at here?
We're looking at extreme sexual harassment in the workplace. These young women walked into what they all had reason to believe were business meetings with a producer, an employer. They were hopeful. They were expecting a serious conversation about their work or a possible project. Instead, they say he met them with threats and sexual demands. They claim assault and rape. If that can happen to Hollywood actresses, who else is it happening to?
Please welcome back to the show our friend Zoe Kazan, everybody. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Congratulations on the movie, but more importantly, congratulations, you and your partner, Paul Dano, had another baby 4 weeks ago.
We did.
You look amazing.
Thank
you
you.
seem amazing. I don't know if this is all a facade, but you overall look like you're doing okay.
Thank you. About 5 minutes ago, I was in your dressing room with like breast pumps in, so I feel great.
Okay, good. I know you have a 4-year-old as well. Accepting to the new sibling so far?
She's very, very sweet to him, and she's like really expressing her emotions to me. So.
Oh, interesting. So any problem she has with it, she's bringing to you as opposed to taking it out.
which is fair because he's 4 weeks old and I'm 39. So
Yeah, you're probably.
Yeah.
If she's judging who's the best one to bring the complaints to, she's a very sharp kid. So this movie obviously is based on an incredible piece of reporting, both that Megan and Jodie did, and then their book, She Said. You had obviously read the book. What was it like the first time you got together, you and Carrie got together with the people you're playing?
Yeah, so Carrie and I have been friends for 14 years. So like we were going into this together and we were incredibly nervous. We had like a 4-way Zoom because this was like, I don't know, the spring of 2021, and we like all popped on together and we're like, surprise, like this is your life. Like we're going to be you. I was really intimidated. They're like Pulitzer Prize winning journalists, but they were so nice and so generous with us and like let me ask all the nosy questions that I secretly want to ask everyone.
That's great that you got to do that. It also was surreal. I heard because you were shooting in Brooklyn, they live in Brooklyn, so you actually they ran into you while you were on set playing them.
Yeah, like Jodie literally ran into us. She was out for a run in Prospect Park, and we were like shooting in Prospect Park, and she texted me being like, "This is gonna sound weird, but are you shooting in my neighborhood?" And I had to be like, "Yes, come on in." So we have like, you know, sweaty selfies on set.
What did you learn about by doing this, the way stories like this are reported that you maybe didn't know?
Yeah, I mean, okay, so I had a kind of like, I think, naive vision that like an investigative reporter would like seek out the truth, learn the truth, and then like publish it in a newspaper.
Yeah.
Turns out it's a lot more complicated than that. Like, they just needed like verification for everything, like 3 sources for everything. I think like I had to like dismantle my like Lego version of being a New York Times reporter. Yeah.
One of the things that was, I mean, the worst possible reason for the New York Times building to be open for you to shoot there is there was a pandemic and none of the reporters were there. But you did get to shoot in the New York Times building.
Yeah, we're the first narrative film to shoot in the New York Times building, and the reason is because no one was allowed to be inside of there. Jodie and Megan hadn't been there for like 18 months when we were shooting in there, so it was a little bit like being in a building where everyone had been raptured. Like, there was like, you know, Valentine's Day candy on people's desks and like their heels under the desk and like, you know, memos that were dated like March 9th, 2020.
Yeah, that say like, call me, it's important.
Yeah, ASAP. Something's happening in China. Yeah.
You mentioned you met Carrie 14 years ago. Was that professionally? Did you guys work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were in a play on Broadway together, and we shared a dressing room about the size of your desk.
So I'm so glad I feel like this is the great unknown thing of people who go to Broadway shows, because they're so grand and palatial rooms, but I'm always blown away by how tiny the dressing rooms are.
Yeah, I mean, literally, we had like our desk where we put on our makeup was this big, and we would put our like sleeping bags underneath it and snuggle up together and both take a nap between shows, and they're truly about this size. So you know, like if we didn't become friends, we definitely were going to become enemies in that situation.
Well, it's certainly nice that it worked out this way.
Yeah.
And it must be also nice, obviously, telling a story like this that has been, you know, both told in the press and told via book form. It's great to do it as a film as well. And are Megan and Jodie, are they happy with how you've gone about doing it?
I mean, if they aren't happy, they're really acting happy. They're doing a great job convincing us. No, they're being so kind. I mean, we've all been so concerned about, you know, this is a very delicate subject matter. And I think that there's stuff about the film that's really entertaining, but at the end of the day, it's also, you know, a very, very heavy and sensitive subject matter. So my eye has been so much on, like, are all of these survivors happy, and or do they feel okay about the representation, that I kind of forgot about Jodie and Megan. And then I saw them at the premiere and was like, hey, hope you think I did a good job.
I'm sure they did. It is always so nice to see you. Thank you so much for being with us, Zoe.
For having me.
Zoe Kazan, everybody. She Says in theaters November 18th. We'll be right back with music from Paolo Nutini.